Recording? Who is that girl that's always saying that to us? I never see her on the Zoom. What's happening here?
Mine, this is not working.
Oh, we're ready, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, on gadi bahi ka jokwa, so when on see you snarly. Gati tanzrio yojitska hawanoji on dajits way in star, no not that running. They didn't would do gurunga gari I guess so. Yeti sota asatanka garako dana yatin staji gonzagi dana gweguskat make an ungwe. They didn't would do a wage and need and yet the gero dana a gwegu or quadsre on okosuma. They didn't would do a gwades and need and yet the gero dana a gwegu or quadsre on okosuma. They didn't would do. Yeti sota gunhan there on the headstone. They're going to go here to the Hawakwe. You can't again have dam dawe around headstone because it's Tasser and a Ganungwe. Dam dawe around headstone. Us me got tired again. Ganyaga Haga. Raginato, Ronata Runi down or this Kadewage. Dam dawe around headstone and Skana, does it Stasra, Dano Gariwa Gorishusera, Dano Kanienkeha Class. Okay, so as everybody knows, every time we get together for a council meeting, any ceremony, anything, any gathering of importance, we always have to carry out Honda Gari Wadekwa first. This is the words that come before all else, where we identify and give thanks to the things in creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. And so we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation. When you look up into the nighttime sky, you are not looking up into cold, dark, lifeless, empty space, the way that non-native science would lead you to believe. No, instead, you are looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother, of Sky Woman herself. And so we give thanks to her, to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit. Am I waiting for a there's no translation here, huh? I'm waiting for a translation. Sorry about that. As you know, we're usually doing Zooms and stuff where there's translation. So I got caught up in that. From there, we give our thanks to our grandmother Moon, the beating heart of our Mother Earth. It is she who regulates the flow of her lifeblood in all things. And so we give thanks to her, our grandmother Moon, as it is she who has given us blood. From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what language you speak, where you have grown out from her, what color you are, what you imagine divides us. Regardless of these things, we have all grown out of the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all relatives, cousins, all related to each other. And so we give thanks to her, to our Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us all body. From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them, for in this world, they give us purpose and direction. From there, we give our thanks to, what did we say? All the waters in all the shapes and forms they come in, all the medicines in all the shapes and forms they come in. Also, as a reminder that we, all things, are made of 100% water. I am made of water. A cow is made of water. A worm is made of water. But yet there is a diversity that creates the three of us. This diversity creates a balance within creation where each living thing is playing an important role in sustaining another. And when that sacred cycle is complete, then we all support each other. We support Sawayerda, the life force of our Mother Earth, the life force of creation. From there, we gave our thanks to our ancestors who carried the good mind, and we asked them to help us to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority within all our nations so they can manage all our people properly once again. We asked our ancestors excuse me, who carried the good mind to also help us to return the true spirit of peace, power, and righteousness to the people, to return the true spirit of every wampum within the Guyana Russell to the hearts and minds of the people. And this is to identify, or not to identify, but to expand on this. For those of you who may not know what Guyana Russell is, great law of peace. For those of you who can say, I've never heard of such a thing, I don't know what it is. Well, just go based on what those simple words are, what it says, great law of peace. Now, if you're a non-native person, we know that this would not make sense to you because there has never been a law of peace within the non-native people. There has never been peace. So you can think that you understand these words being formulated the way that they are, but it's sort of like you understanding if you never had a hamburger and you're going to be in a discussion on how delicious hamburgers are. Well, you just aren't going to be in that discussion. There's nothing that you bring to that discussion unless you know, unless you've had a hamburger. And so for the non-native people, when it comes to great law of peace, there is really nothing that you come to the table with except an open heart and an open mind to learn. And so this is why we have been carrying out the Kanienkeha class every Saturday night now for I don't know how long. There was a few years that there was breaks in between, a couple of years here and there. There was breaks in between, but I think we've been doing this now a little over 10 years. No, more than 10 years. Oh yeah, more than 10 years. I can't remember exactly, but if we actually went back and looked at whatever documentation or something, we would find when. I'm pretty sure we started doing this probably still prior to 2010, because I remember how this started. Wire Gary, you might remember this. We were on a movie set one time. I can't remember the movie. It may have been that Nouvelle France. And we were talking about that, about you coming to do the Kanienkeha classes in the Longhouse. Anyways, I don't know if you remember precisely when, but this is what I think. I think it's been before 2010 anyway. So we're looking at about 12 to 14 years ago, something like that, I would say. You got any clue of that, Wyatt? Any recollection?
No, no, not really. I just remember talking to your father one time because you were sleeping and him and I were sitting on the lawn. We were doing that film. And it was about that mysterious, like a wolf man thing was up north. We were working with, with James, what's his name? Charlie Chaplin's grandson.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was something about dancing, huh? Something like that.
No, it was like an animal that turned into a wolf. It's a Innu. It's an Innu. What you call it?
Okay, that's not the one with Charlie Chaplin. The one you're talking about, that's Maina.
Oh.
That was the one that Flint was on also there. Yeah, okay, that's a long time ago anyways.
A long time ago, a long time.
Yeah. So anyways, just to identify that if anybody out there, native or non-native, it doesn't matter, if you don't have any kind of background or foundation into knowing or understanding what Guyana Russell is great law of peace, what that is. And this does not matter. This is part of the teachings of the Kanienkeha language, that the language is so intertwined, so rooted in peace, that there are no words in there actually that goes against peace. There, like in Kanienkeha, there's no bad words. The worst phrases that you can come up with are actually only phrases that have been in existence since the non-native has been here. So the references or the language of the people of all throughout Turtle Island has been language of peace, which means that, say for instance, in the non-native society, take simple example. Okay, simple example. People always playing pranks on each other. You know, to like if you see like on social media, you'll see that these pranks, that there is innocent level to a prank, sort of like a joke, you know, you might say at the expense of somebody else. But then the practical jokes that go outside beyond that, then these are things such as that doesn't exist within our people. We never said or done anything upon or put any kind of stress upon another person. You would never get a native person conducting or carrying out a prank upon another person. Again, it might be something, say, of a little joke at the expense of somebody. But the way that we see these things of pranks and things of that nature, no, this kind of stuff does not exist within the people. The language was always that of respect and of, if you want to say like if you're on a job somewhere, professionalism. Our people were always professional in the field of peace, which means we lived, ate, drank, and slept, peace. So in everything that we did, every vocal reference, every word referencing anything, there is not any kind of malicious intent. There is no malice in any wording. There is no, none of that bad stuff. So the purpose in what we have been doing here for, as you heard, we don't really know how long, but it's a long time. The purpose in doing this is not just to get you familiar with our language, with the language of the native people. It's to get you familiar with truth, to get you back in a groove of where you speak truth, where you don't speak lies. And no, anybody might think that, hey, I speak truth all the time. I don't speak lies. You're a liar. I could point out to you without even knowing you, all the places that you lie all the time. You lie about Christmas, about Santa Claus. You lie about the tooth fairy. You lie so many little white lies in this world that your children don't know what to believe. And when your children don't know what to believe because there's no truth there, then they grow up to be the ones in control that don't know the truth about anything. And so in a world like that, the only thing that is spoken is lies. And this is the non-native world right now at this point. And to take the liberty to say, and if there's any non-native people here that disagree with me, I'll take the liberty to say that at this point in time, that even the non-native people themselves are fed up. They've had it. They've had enough with the lies, with the corruptions, with not knowing what the truth is, of not knowing, not being in control of their own decision-making processes. That the non-native people are fed up with their own existence now. They created it that way. But we are presenting truth, not just like we said about language, like to say the color red and then say that in Kanienkeha. No, we're out to give you the truth. And so tonight, the Kanienkeha class is going to be a little different than others. Some of you who have been here know that in the past we have also done documents that identify very specific political things that are happening right now. And so we had sent this document to Wyagerto. I don't know when he got it. I don't know how much time you had to translate, but we gave him the whole document about the Hemp-Unity statement there. Yeah, Eda just put it there. So hopefully by now everybody knows what the statement is. You've seen it. So it was given to Wyagerto to translate it so that these truths will not be there just in English. But these truths, once they are translated into Kanienkeha, as you have seen yourself, anybody who's been in our Kanienkeha class, once we get the translation back from English into Kanienkeha, then we can get a more proper translation in English after that point, because the Kanienkeha words give us a more complete understanding. It's like if you had let's say one word, you used one word and you don't know the meaning, but you look in the dictionary and there might be a paragraph, 10 lines. Well, this is what learning that one little word in English, translating it into Kanienkeha, and then back into English gives us a much greater understanding of what the truth actually is. Okay, so there you have it. Everybody knows what this is. So we're going to Wyagerto, and it's all based on how much he translated. And even if he didn't get to translate the whole thing for tonight's class, then it's going to carry over into next week class. And even if it's still not finished, because that is a big document, and I don't know Wyagerto, but I know there might be words in here that I don't know, maybe you got a hard time to find a direct translation to, you know. So this might take longer than just 2 or 3 classes. So don't expect to be finished with this tonight. Yeah, so there you go, just to have everybody know. So this class might actually be a continuation, but we'll see.
Go ahead, let's get going.
Okay, where are we right now?
The title of the document, that's the title.
Okay, so this is translated already?
No, I just formatted the document so it fits how we do it in the classes. So Wyagerto is gonna send phrase by phrase.
Oh, okay, so there's nothing that's translated yet.
I don't know.
Wyagerto, you didn't get to translate anything yet?
No, first of all, I got to get it in paper form because I can't access anything through my computer, and then I'm jumping back and forth, and it's like it's a full-time job. You got to send me have Eda drop off a piece of paper, and then I can start working on it and send it to her or you as an email. Then I can finish it faster like that. But we'll start working on it now. So anything you need like that, if you send it through the computer, it's like, I'm not computer savvy, so I don't know what I'm doing, period.
Okay, so we know we're inching along on this. So everybody knows also that there's no like hurry up type of thing here. Okay, well, while you're working on that, I'll just go over briefly what everybody knows what exactly we're working on. For some time now, we have been looking at what the world has to do to save our Mother Earth, not just based on what the United Nations have identified that the world has until the year 2030 in which to reverse its destructive acts upon our Mother Earth. So, but we base this also on what we know. I mean, anybody would have a brain. You don't have to be in the year 2022 to know that the European is destroying the Earth. You could be in the year 1970. You could be in the year 1976 and know that the European was destroying the Earth by quite simply hearing the information that was released by NASA in 1976 that they had discovered a hole over the ozone, in the ozone over Antarctica. So you could be alive. What's that?
Who's doing that writing, Angel or who? It says,
Andrea, did you receive it? Can you send it to me?
Edith's always doing the
well, I
writing.
send it to Angel. That's who says it's going to.
It should never be sent to Angel. It should always be sent to Edith. Edith is the one that's here that's always doing the writing.
Okay, then who's,
We do that.
but it says Angel. I didn't write that. It's,
Oh, what's going on?
anyway,
Yeah.
right at the A, put an apostrophe.
Which A? Oh, okay.
Right at the first one. Saga. Guada. Saga Guadagua. And then dos. I will keep that. Ohunza. Mzaguego. And then Saoyera. We'll keep that. Which we've said that word too many times. And then T-A. O-N. Daunreni, okay. Aunzakagwatagon, Tosa, Ohunzakwekon sa Oyera Daunreni.
Can you say that first word again?
Aunzakagwatagon, Aunzakagwatagon, Tosa, Ohunzakwekon sa Oyera Daunreni.
Okay, we got to adjust that. Unsa, put it after the A. Take out that next one. After the A, Gagwa. And take out the next one. Ahunsa Gagwa Dagwa. Is that the proper way to say that? Ahunsa Gagwa
Yeah.
Dagwa.
Yeah.
Ahunsa Gagwa Dagwa Dosa Ahunsa Guegu So Yerda Daunreni.
Ahunsa gagakwa dakwa dosa ahunsa gueco saoyera dahunreni.
Aunsaga Wadagwa, Dosa, Ohunsaguego, Saoyera, Daunreni.
Elsa, Elsa,
It's me.
yes. Elsa,
Okay. Sorry. Gagwa, Gagwa, Dagwa, Dosa, Guegu, Saoyera, Daureni.
Janet,
Aunsa Kakwata.
Yeah.
Can you say that word?
Aunzakagwatagon.
Kakwataqua, Dosa, Ohunja Guego, Sayere, Daun Guinea.
Reni.
Daun, huh?
Reni.
Lenny. Daun Lenny.
Joseph,
Aonsa Gagwa Dagwen Tosa Ohonsa Guegon Saoyera Ta Onreni.
Very good.
Merrick,
Aunsa Gagwa Dagwan, Tosa, Ahonsa Guegon, Sayora, Da Oreni.
Ahunsa Kakwatakwon, Tosta, Ahunsa Guegu, Saoyera, Daunreni. Teotwetnuni. The order for today is Longhouse, Merrick, Odidit, Elsa, Janet, Joseph, Merrick, and me.
Okay, I have a question on that. Ahunza Gagwa Dagwa. Is that a combination of the solution?
Yeah, solution to
The
be
whole-
repaired. It's a solution to repair.
Solution to repair. So the whole word, what part of Ahunza Gagwa Dagwa is repair?
Gagwa Dagwa. Gagwa Dagwa.
Gagwa Dagwa, repair.
And then we reply, I use Saoyera for the it's environmental, because that is Saoyera, the environment.
Solution to avoiding. Okay, solution to repair. Okay, when you say dosa, that's like the avoiding, right?
Yeah. And
Okay.
Daureni means a catastrophe where everything falls apart. Daureni.
Ahunza Gagwa Dagwa. Gagwa Dagwa. Solution and repair. Solution and repair. Okay, you know what? In where it says solution, the English part, just put in brackets and repair.
Solution and repair?
Yeah. So Ahunza Gagwa Dagwa, in anything, we might say there's a problem, but there's also that implies reparation in there also, right?
Yeah, because Mzagagwadagwa means for the problem to be repaired,
Ahunza Gagwa-
whatever it may be. And then you go on to talk about Hunza Sauyera, the catastrophe. What's the word? You got environmental catastrophe.
Okay, so could we use that word, Ahunza Gagwa Dagwa, to identify reconciliation?
Yeah, you can use it for reconciliation, and if you want to, like if you have a death in the family and you have to repair the family, the grieving clan's loss, but that, because in the context it's at this mourning period, the word changes a bit, but the word Amzagagwadagwan would fit in there too. So it's something that's interchangeable. So your speaker, your orator always has to have a command of the situation. That's why it's important for your speaker to be told by whoever's writing what, because somebody say, well, this ain't right, a word. But then if you know you're delivering it in a death ceremony, to say, oh yeah, because those are special words. The Senigora, which is to repair the mind.
Okay, you see this is just a heading. So this is gonna tell you, well, it tells you that this document that we're translating, it's gonna take us a while to do that because it's not just simple words that we're translating here. As anybody who read this is a heavy document, so there's heavy meaning in there that has to be transmitted. But just here, this tells you that as Guayagero just identified, that the person who is speaking has to have of the subject matter. So you look at, for instance, what happens in a non-native society when you have one person who's elected or appointed as prime minister or president. That person does not have a command of any given situation because that person is actually so far removed from all realities that in the non-native world, whoever your leader is, they never have a knowledge of whatever the issue is, like the way that the people have a knowledge about it. The non-native people, your leadership, as you know, is separate, and so they don't know. But within the Kanienkeha, here we have 9 chiefs. And so if we were talking about, let's say, for instance, we're looking at the land from east to west, all of Turtle Island. Well, you know that in that land, in some places, there's mountains, other places there's prairies, other places there's deserts, and then other places there's wetlands, swamplands, all of that, so on and so on. Now, when you have a chief, you would have a chief saying, just for example, a chief in each of those places, somebody who knows of the mountains, somebody who knows of the wetlands, of the deserts, all of that. So when it comes time to talk about the mountains, do we think we're going to have somebody who is from the wetlands? Are we going to have somebody talk about the mountains from them? No. This expresses to you, and what Wayagero just said, as to why the Kanienkeha have 9 chieftainship title positions, so that we can have complete authority in all issues, on all things. Meaning that whatever the issue, that you can be damn certain that the representative is going to know everything about it from head to toe. And when those chiefs get together, the clan mullers, if the chiefs don't say this, then the clan mullers will. Okay, you will be the one speaking on this issue because it's your field of expertise. So a management of all knowledge, basically a management of what is in our mind, is happening constantly on an up to the minute, up to the second basis, always under the authority of our mullers. And so this just right here, it exemplifies that. Okay, just to point that out. So let's keep moving then.
Reunited Nations.
Okay, the RE, that means regarding or in reference to.
Okay, I got it. All right. It's good
No,
thing.
leave it that way. And, yeah, leave it that way, and he's going to make the Kanienkeha. We're not changing the text of the letter. And that resolution, that could be changed to declared, like a declaration. They stated it, a statement.
Okay, they're going.
And you know what? Well, while you're doing that, just for us to talk about this, sustainable development. We know that those two words do not go together. It's like jumbo shrimp. They do not belong in the same sentence together. There is no such thing as sustainable development. All development is finite. It can only be done for so long. So there cannot be anything ever identified about development as being sustainable. So here, I don't know, Wayagero, but whatever you might think of in Kanienkeha, maybe there's like something in Kanienkeha where it identifies like an oxymoron, like one of those things that can't be, like jumbo shrimp. Jumbo means big, shrimp means small. So how can you have a big small? You can't. So you see, that's the approach here when we're looking at those two words, sustainable development. Now, if we can't address that right now, like to really hash that out, because we really should get through the main body. If we can't hash that out right now, then that will be something that maybe you should contemplate through the week to see what the best reference to that would be. Sustainable development. Two words that cannot go together.
Okay, Degahun. Degahun. Jana. Degahun Jana. Roku. Degahun Jana Roku. Put a N-E-N. T-S-A-N-E-N. Degahun Jana Roku. Okay, Degahun Jana. Degahun Jana. Degahun Jana. Degahun Jana Roku. Okay. Wode. Wari. Water, and then 2030. Okay. Waderi. Waderi. Wateja. Waderi. Wateja. Waderi. Wateja. Dane. And then Almzaga. Rihwa. Seruni. You want to break that down more? It's up to you now, but that's okay. Degahunza ne raku. Wadawari huara. Dua sasni waso. Wadari huat the job done. Almzagari seruni. And then the numbers.
Degahunzana Rangu.
Oh, Rakun. Khon is kun. Always like a kun. Kun. They got
Degahunzana
kun.
Ranku. Wande Wadi Wado. Wande Wadi Wado. Wanderi Wadejadene.
Wadari what the jot? Wadari what the jot dane? Wadari what the jot dane?
Okay, then put apostrophe after the A.
Which A here, Donnie?
And is there on your computer one of those French E's that has a line? Maybe you can put that there
On the A?
on the E.
On the E? Like ne?
Yeah, on the E.
Accent aigu.
There. Yeah. Okay, what they jot? Dane? Oh, how did you
Yeah.
say it? Dane?
Wadari what the jot dane?
What they jot? Dane? Unsage,
Almzaga.
unsagari. Okay, wait, can you say that word again?
Amzagari wa seruni. Amzagari wa seruni.
Unsagari. Put that comma after the RHI. Unsagari wasaruni.
Amzagari wa seruni.
Unsagari wasaruni. There was a whisk.
Jo do the was then there
There-
was whiskey I wanted.
What is how do you say 1,000?
There was, well, you're saying 2015, so you said there was some whiskey I wanted, 2015.
Oh, okay. There was a whiskey on it.
Degahunzana Ranku. Wande Wari Waro. Waderi Watejadane. Ahunzagari Waseruni.
Tegahon sanara con wate wari wara Waderiwate Jadane, Aunsa Gariwaseruni.
Teka un sanarangu. Wante mari mara. Mari kari. Wateri wate jatani. Sagari. Sagari waseroni.
Very good, Elsa.
Tegahun Jane Rekun Wade Wari Waren Waderi Wadeja Dani Ahun Sagari Wasaroni.
Very good.
Dekahon, Zanen, Renkun, Wendewari Waren, Watere, Watecha, Dane, Eon Sakare, Wa Seroni.
Tiganun sanen rangun, wanter wari, waran, wateri, wateja dane, auns, auns sakari wa seroni.
Teka hun sana rankon, wante wari waha, wateri wate chatane, haun sakari waseroni. Te yo tuet nuni.
You have those words, English words, under the proper Kanienkeha words?
You mean on top? No, well, it's not.
Well, we better fix those in place right away. While he's here, while we're here.
Do you have this phrase where I get it so I can go up?
In accordance with the 2 wampum, yeah, I got, I'm almost finished writing it.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Okay, Degini de Ohade. Okay, go back. Stay, go back to it. I'm almost finished. Okay, Degini de Ohade.
Water.
Oh, Janet raised her hand.
Oh, let's go to Janet while we're waiting.
Just a quick question for the number 25. Is it Dewasa Whisk or Whisk Dewasa?
It's the Wasa Wisp.
Okay, Yawa.
Wisp de Wasa, that's not even a word. Because if it was whisk first, of course, it's going to be 52, and that would be whisk ne wasa. So it's not like.
Oh, whisk Yaware, my mistake, whisk Yaware. We're only in the 15th. 15, whisk Yaware.
No, but she talked about 25.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm listening to your conversation. I'm writing. See, one thing about when you're doing a document, if you're just talking about a grocery list, blah, blah, blah. But when you're doing a document, the words change. So all of a sudden, you're going to see words now that we never touched on. And over here is going to be the last word. And that's okay. Gina de, Gina de, Gina de, Gina, Gina de. Gina Dede. I forgot to put a double T-E-T-E. Gina De. Put your first apostrophe. Gina De. Dewe. Degeni will keep. Deohade will keep. Skona will keep as one. And Onegora Serizon is the piece. Onegora, you know, is the belt. That's your their treaty. Onegora. Onegora Serizon. There's your. There's a word you're not going to come upon that too many times now.
Can you break that word down? Explain it
When
to
they
us.
go rasterismo, it means in the making of a treaty belt.
On a gorda Serizu.
Yeah.
So Serizu, can you describe that? That's an action, right?
Like it's a complete document now, because that's what a wampum belt is. It's a document.
Okay.
Because on Facebook, in some places, they're saying the wampum belt was used as money, and nowhere did money ever come into the equation. But that comes from not something I would say, or a traditionalist would say.
Well, therein hides a bit of our history that our people do not know today. Anybody today who claims to be Longhouse, they know basically the Handsome Lake version of our people. And the Handsome Lake version of our people is, it's like Swiss cheese. The brain of that person is like Swiss cheese. Holes all over, too many pieces missing. But our people, when they upon
The Handsome Lake version are the people who are told what to say. They're not saying what they think.
this is where of when they give reference to the reformation of the league and people talk about Hiawatha, they say that his 7 daughters dying is what prompted him to make the condolence wampum. This was partially true, but the condolence wampum was also battling something that our people were on the verge of. Because when you are in war, then war creates something that you never see in times of peace, obviously. And you might think from peace, well, what is it in war that we never see? You'll see people fighting, killing each other. No, it's not just that which you will never see. What you will never see is where, with us, where we fought off commodification, because war automatically puts a value on things that you would use in war. So you value things of war as opposed to things of peace when you're a warmonger. And so this means then that as soon as people are engaged in war, they are automatically engaged in commodification of creation. Now, this is what Hiawatha stopped. One man stopped the complete commodification of all the people of Turtle Island, of having the mentality of commodifying. Because if we're locked in war, then I would need more arrowheads. I would need more knives. I would need more clubs. And of course, if I'm at war, I ain't got time to go and make those things. So I would have to give somebody something as payment. So you think of, where do warmongers get something monetary or something of value that they could give somebody else's payment? Well, it's all what they get from theft, from thief, from stealing, from being in a war. Because when you kill somebody, you take your enemy's bow and arrow. You take their knife. And so now you have 2 knives, 2 bow and arrows that you can trade with somebody else. Or you might take something of theirs. This is the mentality of war. It is automatically creates everybody engaged in war as a thief. You are automatically a thief whenever you are engaged in the practices of war. So right now, everybody on the planet who is engaged in war to the degree of being a soldier in a standing army, you automatically made to be a thief, even without you knowing it. But if you have already been engaged in war, then you yourself have countless examples of your own self when you have stolen. Now you can say that, well, maybe I killed somebody else and I never took anything off of a dead man. Well, yes, you did. You took their spirit, you took their life. And so if a person can steal the life of another, then that person would have no problems with stealing any physical property off of the people they have killed. Anyways, this is what was put to a stop here. I want to put to a stop commodification. And the fact is that where commodification was taking place is within the Onagora, within the wampums. It didn't happen. It was on the verge of happening. I want to stop it. Okay, anyways.
Okay, Guayaquil, can we just verify the sentences that are correctly in Kanienkeha in English, that they correspond?
Okay, that's good. Yeah. We'll scroll up. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so we didn't say this part yet.
No, we didn't say this part. I'm gonna read it now. Gina dedewe tegini de ohade skona onegora serizum.
Okay, we gotta adjust the first word. Put it at Zina. Take that out. Yeah, we don't need. That's it. Zina dedewe tegini de ohade skana onagora seriza.
Right on.
Sina dedewe degani te yohade skana onegora serizo.
Sino te de mue, tengan te yo antes que no. Onegora serisu.
Ina dedewe, degini, deyohade, skana, onigora, sariso.
Sina dedewe, tekani, deowade, scanan, onakora serason.
Good.
Sina dedewe dignidio hade scanan onagora serison.
Natetewe tegeni de ohade skana onegora serizo. Teotetnoni.
Okay.
Also, anybody who's been in the Kanienkeha class with us, or anybody who's engaged with us, you know that there might be some times that you have to give reference to us. Now, this paragraph right here is going to be your universal reference to us. So, you know, you heard in the past, Guayaquil has identified that he refers to himself as a Turtle Islander. This is everybody, absolutely everyone here in Turtle Island, all the original peoples are first and foremost Turtle Islanders. And then just like in your body, you know, you can say all the cells in your body, it's part of your body. But then you can identify that in your body, there's heart, lungs, this and that. So then certain cells are a part of that within your body. So here we can see that, yes, we are all people of Turtle Island, but we here in Kahnawake are the Kanienkeha people of the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy. So it's just a more precise reference. So if you're ever saying Turtle Islanders to somebody, you're having a conversation, well, that could mean anybody from as far north to as far south as you can go, from polar bears to penguins. Anybody in between can be Turtle Islanders. But then you know that there's some people in the southern hemisphere, some in the northern. just to identify more precisely who you're speaking of.
You're maintaining your land base. And what they like us to do is call ourselves a Swekahaga, Ganawaga, Runa, Agizasruna. Then that's our land base. So anywhere off the boundaries, and you don't belong to no place but there. But when you say you're at Noaraga Ronu, you're maintaining the original North-South Pole tie, which goes on, and it's non-negotiable in my eyes, or in the eyes of the Yak Wisna Dionzaga. Because if you give in 1 inch and then they have a speaker on their side who's selling out, he'll say, hey, they just gave up the whole Midwest.
Yeah.
Eh?
That's the key, what you just said, a person that sells out. It's really within the individual. Each and every single person has to keep their fire burning. Nobody else is going to come along and relight your fire if you let it go out. So everybody has to keep this in our minds. So just as an example, when I was a kid, I think it was before I was in kindergarten that I had learned to identify at the time. Remember, everybody was still calling it Cognawaga. I learned how to spell it. My mother taught me how to spell it, learned me how to say where I live. So since before I was even knowing how to read or write in English, my mother taught me how to write at that time, Cognawaga. You know.
Well,
So-
last week I met with a group. First time ever, they sent me a Zoom they were from Tayandanego, and they were all under 30, so I didn't know none of them. And there was 2 women from Ganasadaga talking who, the woman was saying everything wrong. And I said I should shut up because she's older than me, but I said no more shutting up. And I interjected and I says, I want to correct you on this. I said, you made a big mistake. And we're all on the screen like this. You could see the look on her face. She didn't like it, but I was hoping she wouldn't like it. I says, well, didn't you, I clarified it though. I says, look, you said this and it doesn't even mean that. And don't forget these young people, they're learning, they're the future. She says, well, we use that word. Yeah, but I said it's wrong. And then they're gonna continue, because we're older, they'll argue somewhere and we're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. But I said, I'm going to correct you and I'm going to teach them the right way. And man, she got really upset. Her voice changed. I says, it's people like you. Oh, she says, I'm getting old and I'm getting lazy, so I make shortcuts. I says, well, that's where we lose a lot of stuff. I says, I'm getting old too, but I don't make shortcuts. I says, because I know if I make a shortcut, it's into the favor of the European. And we can't give the Europeans that edge on us, because they will use it, and they will have the people who are selling us out who speak the language, and they're going to say, hey, there's your loophole. We just got a loophole. And they'll chew on that, and we will lose that part of whatever we're talking about. So you got to maintain your stand. And I says, maybe you will never invite me again, but it's okay. But some young people, and they were smiling. They said, well, we want to learn the right way. Well, I said, I'm not saying I know everything, but I know. Oh, she says, I don't want, because I'm getting older, I can't think anymore. I don't bother to think. Well, I said, as I get older, I gotta think more than when I was younger, because I won't be here and somebody has to continue. That's why the word I said a whole bunch of words, and they were writing it down. And I said, how from this one root, this word changes. It changes every time you say it, every time it's a different object. But she thought like it stood for one thing, it's like one pair of shoes fitting all of us in the longhouse. Of course, it won't fit.
You know, when you identify when you identify taking shortcuts, this is something that our people never done. Longhouse, anybody in the Longhouse knows there's no such thing as shortcuts. But this is a mentality that has come along in the last 100 to 150 years, and people who claim to be traditional or Longhouse people are the ones who have adopted this way of the white man, of shortcuts, to the point of where so-called clan mothers retire. Now talk about a shortcut. Imagine a clan mother or a chief that holds a position for life until you are proven to not be able to fulfill that job again. But imagine just saying, oh, I retire. Like you retire from being a mother, retire from being a father, retire from taking care of your people. These are the ultimate shortcuts that that express or reveal the corruptions of how far the white man's mentality has crept into the minds of our people. Shortcuts now are a thing that our people do. As you know, Guayagero, that people are using, say that word, Arianakuneha. People call it purple. But no, that's not what that is. That's a reference to the priest. That's a reference to something in the church.
It means he who holds the law. He who holds the law. And there's no such thing because there's no male. We are never led by a male.
No.
So, you know, he the carrier of the law.
But there we see then.
If you're of that religion, sure, it's a strong word, but it wouldn't come out of our mouths.
But we also see then, just like in, we say left hand, right hand, they're exact opposites, but mirror images of each other. And so we know that within our peoples and the non-native people, that there's mirror images. We know the story that they tell of their, whatever, they call them Jesus. Well, the story is similar to ours, but they killed their savior. So he was never actually their savior, but they call him their savior. So this is to identify that in the non-native world, right there, like you said of a native person changing one word, and it goes into many different areas, changing everything. Just think of that one thing. The non-native world refers to that guy as their savior, but he never actually saved them. They killed him. So he was never a savior. So just imagine for the last 2,000 years, just in that reference of thinking of the word savior and referencing somebody that never actually saved anything, never saved anyone. He was killed. So this is an example of how to show that on their side, similar stories to our stories. Now, purple, we know that purple here, this is an authority. Even the color that's utilized in our wampum belts. This is purple is acknowledged as authority. When
we call it from the grape, but we also have many different grapes. We say Nahare, and when we're talking about the wampum, Nahare was so good, the grape colored one, and then we would say Nahare, and that would be a green grape itself, a green grape. Then Wayahun, Nahare, that would be a blackberry, a black grape, I mean.
Yeah, but the thing about the wampums, nowadays we have a certain perception of the wampum because none of us actually make it anymore. But if we were to make this wampum, we would go out into the lakes and you would see the abalone shell, and there is part of the abalone shell that is solely white and part of it that is solely purple. Now that purple part is utilized or was utilized within, of course, our wampums where the purple wampum was needed. So in those wampum belts of a long time ago, the color purple was not something that we had to like use grapes or something to dye those beads. Those color purple in the wampums, the original ones, were naturally colored that way from the purple within the abalone shell. So those things never faded, you know, but today we do have to do that. We do have to dye our beads, you know, to get it to that color. Anyways, this is just to identify that we've heard for centuries from the non-native people, like as if they have an exclusive right to the way that life grows. They have said to us that, oh no, your story, that's our story, like as if we're, hey, Keith, hey. They're acting like as if we're stealing or borrowing something from them. Imagine the left hand coming forward to the right hand and saying, hey, where'd you get those middle fingers from? Where'd you get that? That's my idea. That would be only stupid people that would speak in such ways. People who actually don't know anything. And so it's important for us to keep giving these parallels, you know, these comparisons across the board so that people don't get stuck in a false belief of you thinking that when we say something that you think you have an understanding of, that it fits your understanding. No. The non-native people are never going to have an understanding of anything that the native people say, because the non-native people function or dysfunction from a male dominant brain. We are of a balanced brain. So a male dominant brain is unbalanced. So try talking sense from balance to unbalanced. It's not going to happen, because unbalanced, like just for an example, if this is balanced and unbalanced would go this way, then it's like you're creating a crosshair, and whatever's going to get caught in those crosshairs is going to be annihilated. So this is the reason why right up until now, the communication has not been understood. Right now, and what we have been doing in the last, like we said, I don't know, 12, 14 years of Kanienkeha Class, is to put across the proper communication, the proper understanding, where you, well, where the non-native people will be able to comprehend what we're saying. And through this filter, we can understand completely what the non-native people are saying.
Janet raised her hand.
Okay, Janet.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. And I want to be careful because I want to learn the true language. So did you say, Wayagero, that he who holds the law is equated with the way purple is said in Kanienkeha, or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, from the Catholic's point of view, he's the carrier of the law.
Oh, okay.
Meaning their law got nothing to do with our law. It's all our words, but it's Kanienkeha, but it's not our law. He's not the Pope. He's not carrying the great law. He's not carrying. He's got a law he made up, and that's the doctrine of discovery. So if the Kanienkeha believe that, then they deserve to be killed because you agree with it. I don't agree with it. Never did, never will.
Just so that you understand, Janet, the reason why this is even a subject right now for us to talk about is because all the Mohawk people, or not all the Mohawk people, but the Christian Mohawks, they have adopted a false understanding, because you got to remember that we come from, first, these Mohawks, they come from us. So they come from remembering we're people of law, and that law associated with the purple wampum authority, things such as this, granted from the power of the white wampum. So when these people were enslaved and brought into the church, now the reference to Ariarakwaneha, purple, it's not an actual meaning. It is to say that, well, for them, that guy that they see dressed in purple is the law for them. So they make that association from within their old memory of what law was, what they knew law to be, and which is expressed in our wampum belts. So it's like a memory transferred over to take on a new meaning. It's not actually words that explain or describe anything. Today, you say that to anybody, say like 20 years old, in their mind, they're gonna think purple. That's what they're gonna think right away, the color purple. If anything, they might think, well, what's purple? Grapes, stuff like that. That's as far as they'll go. But Ariarakwaneha has nothing to do with that actual color. It's a reference. It's a reference to a knowledge base of knowing.
It's an illusion that has been taken as fact.
Yeah, I get it now. I understand. I really appreciate this. Really, really do. Thank you.
Oh, but they're good questions to ask, because Zayenawago means you're holding. So Arihuawago means holder of the law. So it's they're very interesting. Going slower sometimes through something clarifies you're now seeing things from a different approach. You know, like somebody will always say, oh, Wayageto's hard. He's hard. I'm not hard. The law, I'm following the law. Then the law is not, I wouldn't be following the law if it was wrong. I'm talking about the Ganarasadak. Oh, it's right. Hardly anybody's following it. So I'm fortunate to speak the language. And I'm going to say what is written there, not what you tell me you think is written there. I don't have to think, because I think as a Kanienkeha to English to French, not from English to French to Mohawk, which is watered down 3 times already. I mean, it may be complex what I'm saying, but I got it figured out in my head. I know why. And sometimes, hey, I get mad at myself and I say, well, why don't you just throw in the towel and go with the flow? And then I say, you never did it now. And I'm headed for the western door myself. So before, if I'm going out that door, I'll go out the way I came in, putting up an argument for our side. Who's going to be left to do it? I'm not saying I'm the last man standing, that's for sure. But if I teach enough people, maybe they'll really think about it and say, if you want to have a lot of friends, just agree with everything that goes on. But I think of our grandparents past 1491, and they weren't standing up and fighting for, because now we have the forum, we have this machine we're working with now, which was unheard of, but works in our favor now. Tony Owanaga.
You know, when you hear somebody who says, oh, that Wayagerdu is hard. Well, if you looked at what Wayagerdu was saying, and this just replaced the name Wayagerdu with anybody. Say, oh, this person is hard. Okay, well, let's look at what is hard about the person. Well, you can easily break it down. Is if they're right in what they're saying, then what is hard about that person is not that person. What's hard about them is you not wanting to accept the truth. So this is what the people of the Longhouse are. They're people who, right from the get-go, you're not going to get by with any kind of lie or any kind of falsity in any way. The people of the Longhouse are scientific people, scientific, rooted in truth, rooted in that we are still, I'll say, the only people left now on the planet who still remember original instruction, who still have great law of peace. Now, again, if you don't know what great law of peace is, that's just because you have forgotten. I don't care if you're Russian, Japanese, French, or this or that. Everybody was born into this world with peace ingrained in every cell of us. It's in our DNA. So the people who have forgotten find it hard to work with Wayagiru. Why? Because Wayagiru is talking about law. That tells you whoever has a hard time working with somebody when it comes to law, it's because they are corrupt. They want the easy way. They want the profit in their pocket. They want the control, the power. They want people to listen to them, not to what the truth is. This is the reason why anybody would say, oh, it's hard to work with this person, or it's hard to work with that person. Unless you could just come outright and say, well, that person is just an asshole. You know, if that's all they are, well, then there's no way to confuse any kind of truth to being an asshole.
You know, for me, like I would like to be in a room full of 10, 15 speakers, Kanienkeha speakers, and I know 3/4 of them would get mad at me, and the 3/4 only because they're religious. But deep down inside, off the record, they would say he's right, but that was then, this is now. Well, that's why you live on a reservation now, because you let everything go. And in a few years, there will be no such thing as these reservations, they call them. So you got to take your stand. I mean, just to say, oh my God, I don't want to argue with the government again. Well, then they already know. If you're taking a stand, say, Jesus, that guy again, is he still alive? And then if you teach somebody, then you carry it over another 100 years. If that person has the same stamina and strength that you have, and I'm talking about mental strength, not physical.
This is how our enemy knew. And this is how we know our enemy. Where today, I'll say, even though there's 7 billion people on the planet, there's 900,999,099 people who are all not complete. Their brains are not fully evolved because of the fact of male dominance. And so this means that 99% of the world are all compromising truth, compromising facts, compromising their own position, their own identity. And this means that the majority of the world is trivial. They are all trivial. They make no difference at all, either way, about creation, except when a person is like that, they are basically on the side of evil, of corruption. So for our people, you know that word, Wayagiru, the terminology of the continuous fire, that this is where a person today, like Wayagiru speaking in Kanienkeha, Wayagiru is only what, alive in this world now since what, 1940s, 50s?
1951. I'm 71 now. Next month.
But somebody who's only in this world for 70 years can be carrying the continuous fire of somebody who was alive 1,000 years ago, of somebody who was alive 2,000 years ago. Now, this is not something that is completely dependent on things that happened before Wayagiru was brought into this world. It is also dependent on Wayagiru's mind as to where he himself makes the decisions of, I'm not going to be connected to this corruption or that corruption. So when a person stands their ground here in the here and now, they are part of that continuum. We are directly linked. There is no separation from us. You might as well say it's like we have two heads, because we're alive in the here and now with the head that's on our shoulders, but we're being guided by the head of an elder. And most of the time, it's from somebody of an opposite clan. It's usually of our grandfather. So for me, it was of a bear or a turtle, you know, so there'll be somebody back there, because when I have children, I have to watch over them. So let's see, I'm a wolf clan. Would I be watching over wolf clan children? No, because I can't have a child with a wolf clan. I would be watching over either bear clan or turtle children. This is the reason why it's always another clan that's with you from the past. That's always, you can say, directly in your mind. So sometimes if you are a wolf clan, you might find yourself wondering, where does that come from? Because that doesn't seem to fit with wolf clan. It'll be our grandfather. It'll be either our bear clan grandfather or our turtle clan grandfather. And then we can see that, oh yeah, that is a bear clan thought, or that is a turtle thought. And then the person in the here and now can sort that out, arrange it, know how to work with it. This is what it means to know who you are, where you are, when you are. And that's what we give thanks for. Okay, anyways, are we ready to?
Yeah, and so you know it's 8:26.
Okay. Kanienkeha will keep. Ungwetsu'a will keep. I mean, we won't break up. Whisk will keep. Niohumzage. Okay, there's some new people. So Niohum Zage, and then Ganu Ses. Ganu Sesrono, and then Degahum. Degahum Zanadar. See, that's the United Nation, people of the 5 nations. Degahum Zanadar, Ganawage, and then right at the A's, the first break, right at the beginning. Nowara. Ge. Rono, at Noarage Rono. So I'll read it backwards.
Wait, the no word, we should leave that all together, no word, age. We don't need the
8.
in between one. Yeah.
Okay, at Noarage Rono. I'll read it again then. Kanienkeha Ungwetsu'a wish Niohumzage. Ganu Sesrono, Tegahum Zanera, Ganawage, at Noarage Rono.
Is there 2 whisks?
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
we only need 1.
This thing is.
Okay, Kanienkeha Ungwetsu'a wish Niohumzage, Ganu Sesrono, Tegahum Zanera, Ganawage, Anowarage Rono.
Kanienkeha Ungwetsu'a Wisni Unzage Ganu Sesruno Degahunzanera Ganawage Anuwarage Nuron.
Kanienkeha Ungwetsu'a Wisni Unzage Ganu Sesrono Degahunzanera Ganawage Anuwarage Rono.
Kanienkeha Ungwetsu'a wisk Niohumzage. Gano Sesron, Teganu, no, Tegau Sanera, Ganawage, Anuwarage, Anuwarage Ronu.
Good.
Kanienkeha Ungwetsu'a wisk Niohumzage. Ganun Sesla, Runun, Degahun Zanera, Ganawake, Anuwarage Anu, could you say that, please?
Ano wara ge rono.
Anu warage runo. Thank you.
Kanienkeha Onkosona Whisk Neon Sage Ganon Ses Ronan Degahon Sanaren Ganawage E no Warage Ronan.
Kanienkeha Onkosua Whisk Neon Sage Ganon Hetzron Tekan Hon San Tekan Hon San Sanaran Ganawage Anunwara Ge Ronon.
Kanienkeha Ungwesua Whisk Nihonsage Ganosesrono Tekahunsanera Ganawage Anuarage Rono. Teotwetnuni.
What time is it?
8:30.
8:30. Okay, I guess we could do maybe one more. We'll see
Go
where.
ahead, go ahead.
Hey, no water. Oh, so, who's that water?
Okay. Where is it, Edith?
Yeah, coming back.
Need water.
Oh, there's no more like no.
Hey, one of you guys change the water. We need water. Drinking water. Oh boy.
It's sent, Edith.
I sent it also.
Okay.
Do you see it, Edith?
Yeah, I was busy doing other stuff.
Gina De. Gina De. Yeti. Gina De Yeti Ganere and then not De. Not De Hune and then Yohunza. Gayun.
With the H, huh?
Yeah. Yohunza Gayun Ronu. And then whisk and then they want. They want Nyawe, Niyo. Serage, okay. Gina te ye tigane de not de hune. Yo hunta gayun ronu. Wish they want Nyawe, Niyo Serage.
Okay, there's a couple of additions we're gonna put there. Tina de Yeti Ga K-A. The next word, N-A. Let's try this. Take out the second one. Will it work like that? Not de huni. Will that work like that while you're there, or does it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's used. I just break it to where I think and then use one. If it's hard for you, then break it again.
Okay, so not Dehuni. Should there be one after the TE too? Not Dehuni. Not Dehuni. No,
Not
I think
Dehuni.
just like that is, I think that's good. Okay, Tina de Yeti Ganere, not Dehuni. Yehunza Gayun Rono, Whisk de Wanyawe, Neo Sarage,
Yeah.
Neo Sarage.
Zinate yetiganere na dehoni yohunza gayoronu wis deonyawe ni yoserade.
Okay, that word, not Dehune, not Dehuni, not Dehune.
Na dehoni.
Okay, then put another one there between the two ends.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I knew there was something else.
Si not the yeti ganere, not the hunne, you hunt saga yurono, wis the one Yahweh, new sarage.
Sorry. Si nothing you can Canada. Si nothing yet Canada. De una. Yo un saqueo. Gayoron. Whiskey. The one Yahweh. Neo Serage.
Nade yeti ganare na dehune yohunja gayun ronun whisk de wa niawe neo sarage.
Good.
Sinade yete kanere na tehone yonsa kayon ronan whisk dewen yawe niosarage.
Sinate yetiganare natehone yohonsa gayon ronon whisk dewe niawe nions serage.
Sinate yetiganere na dehone yon saga yon rono wis te wanyawe ni hon serage. Te yotetuni.
Okay, I got a question here for everybody. Lee, can you leave it there, read it, go back up? Just really fast. Don't really try to think about this. Just try to use your brain as to what you just heard. Who here can tell us the word for 100? Quick.
They nodded it.
What?
They went Yahweh.
They went Yahweh, yeah. Okay, now that doesn't mean 100. Obviously, you see the word whisk before it. Whisk, as you know, is 5. So they went Yahweh implies that there's 100 after it. So you know, whisk they went Yahweh, that's 500. So they went Yahweh
100s.
is 100.
It's a fraction.
It's 5 100s.
That's it. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's a fraction. So we had fractions a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Huh.
if
Wow.
if you're counting over 100, then it's important to know they went Yahweh. Now, if you're counting under 100, it's Newasa.
Newasa.
That's only starting after 20.
That's 30. 20 is Dewari.
Newasa. 20 is the
Newasa.
one. So, but prior to 20, then you're and then your teens are different. Now, this is one I've always had a problem with. how do you say that? Let's say us 13. How do you say that? Boy,
I'll say I want it.
us they want. You see, so first you're saying Askadegani, Asagayeri, Whiskey, Ayabtada, Sadego, Joto, Oyeri, 1 to 10, and then Newarde, and then up to 20, and then 20 and up, it's Newasa, right up until 100, and then it's Dewanyawe. After a while, maybe right now that you might be saying, what? What did I just say? But after a while, that will become into your head like you wouldn't even have to think about it.
So what you're saying for the teens is that you have first the 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the complement of 10? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
It's the same for German.
no problem.
Yeah.
For the teens, it's Yawari, not Nawari. Right?
Like I said, this is where I always had a problem with that. The teens, I always had a problem with it. What is the proper one for teens, Wyagerda?
It's
Begins with a Y or an I.
Oscar Yawari.
You want it.
Yeah. Yawari.
So Oscar Yawari, Degani Yawari, Degani Asagayeri, Whiskey, Ayabjaka, Sadega, Jota, Oyeri. But not Oyeri. It'd be,
It's hard to get used to.
so you go Oyeri Newari and then Dewasa. What?
Computer's not.
Oh, shit.
Oh, it's just there, the thing. No? Hey, no sharing in the class.
Okay, what's the time we're at?
8:41.
Okay, this will be the last one.
There.
Hey, it's in the weird transfer.
Honadorohu.
Oh, no. We only need one break there.
Honadorohu. Okay. Jiniye. Jiniye. Weye. Jiniye weye noda. Okay. Jiniho. Nadewe. Ye nizam. Yehona dewe ye nizam. Ye ni. Break it there again. Yehona dewe ye nizam. Okay. Yo dakson, we'll keep that. I can't then. Dehodi. Dehodi hunza. Dehodi hunzanaran. Oh, Dehodi. Dehodi dasto. Then doaso, 2020 zok. En son que de, en son. En son que de Jiniho. Diera. You want to break that again? Die. Okay, Jiniho Diera. Now I'll read it again. Tonadorohun. Jiniha diwe jiniha jini yewe enoda. Jinihona deweyenizum. Jinihona deweyenizum yo dakso. Dehodi huntanara. Dehodi dakstum. Doason zok on sunkede jinihodiera. Wow.
Okay, Tono de rojo, Tine weye nodo, Siniho Nadawayeniso. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right. You said it right. Jinihuna Dewayanism.
Yodaxo de Hodi Hunza Narda.
Yeah.
De Hodi Dasto. The wasa Zok Son Songade.
Yeah.
Songade. Tinio Tierra.
Jinihodiero.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna put some breaks there. Okay, wait a minute. Let's start from the last word. Tini yo ni, right between the two eyes.
Maybe we can put sini or di, no?
Yerda together, right?
Yeah.
Yerda. Take out the next one. No, not that one.
I know.
Take out the next one. The next one. Tini ho di yerda. Can you say that word again?
Jinihodiero.
Okay, that's right. Tini ho di yerda. Assume. Okay.
Take the H out. Osunkede.
And then put one between the E and the T. Yeah. There was another one that had a problem with. I can't think right now. Go ahead, just.
Donatoro, Tini Wayenoda, Tini Honate Wayenison, Yodaxon, the Hoti Hunsanera, the Hoti Dasto, Sok, Ansukete, Tini Hotiero.
Donatorohon, sini enoda, sini honate wayeniso, yodaxa, deho di hotsanera, deho di dasto, the wasa, zok, ansungete, sinio diera.
Dona toro senie weye nota senio natemwe yeni su sinio natemwe yeni yo taxa teoti un sanero teoti tastum 2020 song en suquete sinio tierra.
Dona Dorohon Janini Wien Noda Jiniho na Dawe Yenisun Yodaxa Tehodi Huncha Nera Tehodi Dasun Dajun Dewasa Zok Ensugade Jini Hodi Yeren
Osunkede was the word. Osunkede.
Asunkade Janini Hodi Yeren.
Yeah, you said it right the first time.
Oh, now
Donatorohon, Sinie, Wie, Noten, Siniho, Nadawe, Ienson, Yotaxin, Tehoti Honsa Neren, Tehoti Taston, Dewasa, Sok, and Sonkete, Sini Oti Ieren.
Donatorohon, sinie we noten, siniho natewe yeniso, yotaska, yotaska, yotaksa, tehoti honsa neren, tehoti tatso, dewasa, sonkan sonkete, en sunkete, sini hoti yeren.
Bien, très bien.
Merci.
Tona turuhu, sinie wayanota, siniho na deweyani so, yotaksan, tehoti honsanera, tehoti taso, tewasa, sok, en sonkete, di siniho diera, teotwetnoni.
Merrick, I have a, can you go back up to that?
Yeah, just let me do this and I go back. Just a second. Oh, God, it is.
Merrick, did you ever have any kind of like a dyslexia or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Okay, then I know what's happening with you because the same thing happens with me. For instance, let's look at the second line from the bottom, just before 2020. The hodi dastu. You said the hodi datsu. Like you put T before the S, and you also did that on yodaksu. You said yodasku. So I know that me too, when I'm reading, because I'm used to English, I know that like the syllables or whatever in English, the vowels, they go a certain way, yeah? Like I before E, unless it's after C or something like that. So we're used to it being a certain way. But here, we see those things arranged differently. So I notice with me, I do the same thing like what you did. Sometimes I find myself, it's almost like a dyslexic, like I'm dyslexic, you know, where that word yodaxo, instead we'd say yodaskro, you know. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out to you because that's what I heard you saying in the hodi dasko, that you put the S after the T. So it's just to say there, I know we got to get ourselves used to, like I had to get myself used to, saying vowels and syllables in a different way other than the way English allows it to be arranged in our mind to understand. Okay, we can't go any further tonight. What time is it?
8:52. Yeah.
Okay, whereabouts in the document are we? How far did we get?
The first paragraph.
First paragraph. Okay, well then, now that you have the document anyways, Lawyer, maybe next week it's gonna be a lot easier, you know, go through it this way. So
just to verify this last part, is that okay in the correspondence of English and Kanienkeha?
Yeah.
All right.
okay, can you point out to me what is the word Zinoho Nadawe Yenizu? What is the science in there?
That's where there's science. Now, Adawayanunya is your style in which you got to what you got to, which is science.
So it's like your frame of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, then herein, you see the frame of thinking. The frame of thinking is
us
what,
and them, the white Europeans, we have a different way of, we have a different approach through our thoughts. You'll never hear that word again unless it comes up again.
okay, well, it's gonna come up again. We're gonna have to put that word somewhere to remember it right now. Can you put that word somewhere? Just off to the side, somewhere.
And what did that mean again?
Tete.
Where? Sorry,
We
where?
have a different way.
What I read
Okay,
at the end.
okay, I'm just gonna go to the end of the document. Dede
T-E-T-E, Dede, Wade, Wade, Weye, Na, Dihan.
Like this.
Yeah, Dede, Wade, Weye, Na, Dihan. Dede, Wade, Weye, Na, Dihan. You'll never hear that. No, you won't see a book that has that word in there.
And what does that mean?
We have a different approach through thoughts.
Which basically means we have a different way of thinking. All right. Okay, let's see. How do we want to do this? Would it make sense for you right now to go over and read the Kanienkeha, or should we wait until the whole document?
Well, let's read it now, because if somebody's going to be studying it during the week, they have it.
Yeah. And then at the end, when we're done, like the whole document, you could read the whole document off nonstop without.
Yeah, once it's all done, yeah.
We'll format it like that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, go ahead and let's. Where do we go?
Hey, amzakakwatakwa tosa ohunzakwego sauyero damreni. Okay, solution to avoiding the worldwide environmental catastrophe. The Reunited Nations. We put 2030 resolution of 2030. Agenda. Amzakariwa Seruni. Duasa wish Jotu Duasa wish for a suitable development of 2015. Gina Dede Wedegini Niohade in accordance to the Turo Wampum Skona Onegora Sedizon Peace Treaty. Kanienkeha wana soa, Kanienkeha Mohawk, Wisnium Zaget Anusasrona, people of the 5 nations. The Gahunzanera Ganawage, Confederacy of Ganawage, Anoarage Rono, Turtle Islanders. Tina de Tiganere, not the Hone. We have observed the behavior in the European for the last 500 years. Tina Tonadorohan Jiniha their collective behavior has proven Jinihona Dewayanism, Yotdaxon, their own science to be destructive. Deho dihunzanaron, deho didasto. Their own United Nations has put a deadline in 2030. Sok osunke de jinihodiero, to which they reverse their actions. Is that it?
Yep.
What time is it?
8:58.
Ha! 2-minute deadline here. All right. Well, as everybody knows, like we said, this is it's a heavy document when you consider everything what's in it. Now, some of you may not have seen the whole document yet. It's on. We put it on the Facebook page. We just got it finalized today, and we went out to the railroad tracks a while ago to do a short live video explanation about it leading up into it. So if any of you want to know about it, it's there on the Facebook page. But like we said, it's a hard subject, some very hard things to discuss, and I'm sure that even for Waya Gerder to come up with some of these words, these might be like digging into a pocket full of razor blades. It might be hard to to visit such things. But this is a necessary exercise for all of us, because as we all know, we are all engaged actively in working in the defense of our Mother Earth, working to save her, to heal her, to bring her back to her health. And so to do this, we have to have a certain set of knowledge in our minds as to how we got here, what led up to this, just how bad is it? And so together, we are addressing these things in a realistic fashion to empower each of us to be able to do something about it. So we say to everybody for sitting through this, even through the discussions that we're having here and there on it, you see it kind of takes us to different tangents. We say to everybody, Nyawagoa, because again, this is hard stuff to address. It's complicated. There's a lot of things connected to it, but it is necessary. When we consider that children had to be targeted by governments, by not just one adult or a couple of adults who were so corrupt that would say, hey, let's go out and kidnap a child and have our way with them. No, but on a level of where governments, of a bunch of people, adults get together to say, let's do this. We're dealing with insanity. You are looking into the minds of insane people. Now I know for a fact, you are not going to grasp this. The first time you hear it, second time you hear it, the 100th time you hear it, you're not going to grasp it. Because I have heard this thousands of times. All my life I have heard it. And every time I hear it, I grasp something more. I understand it deeper. I see the urgency, I see the corruption, I see the insanity that can so easily fester, so easily seep out of one crazy person's mind and permeate the mind of another. So we together, I know that the people who are here, I know that you are committed. I know that you are engaged in this process. And we say to you that there will be sometimes driving on this road, just like a convoy of truckers going to Ottawa this week, and sometimes you're going to find roofing nails all over the road, people trying to sabotage your effort. Even just walking this path itself could sabotage walking the path. So be strong, everybody. Keep your own gazatstasara. Keep yourself always strong. And for this, all the time, you expand it into the things of where you need understanding, where you need improvement. You expand it. You make yourself stronger and smarter. So now we'll go, everybody. Okay, we're closing now.
Hang on, Joseph, raise.
Oh, okay.
I just was looking for a little, I guess, historical context as far as the relationship between the 5 nations, the Haudenosaunee and the Algonquin. Like, were they included in part of the Truro Wampum and the peace, or was there animosity before we came and after?
No animosity. Okay, we're looking at here when the Great Law of Peace was established. This is little over 2,000 years ago now, and so the non-native only got here 5 years ago. So that meant that we had 1,500 years of peace, 1,500 years of walking away from those corrupted relations that we did have with everybody as being at war. That wasn't just something that the Kanienkeha had. It wasn't just our reputation of, yeah, we're always at war. No, it was everybody. Just like the same way you look in Europe and try to find one group of people that can claim that they're not a warring people, that they haven't been part of war. So we have been part of war. But once we correct, it's sort of like this, and guys can relate to this statement that I'm going to make right now. You know, if you got a girlfriend or a wife or something, and she says, put the toilet bowl seat down. Well, if you go to the bathroom and you put the toilet bowl seat down, you wouldn't expect to hear that from her. Put the toilet bowl seat down. So the only time you're going to hear that again, or the only time you would expect to hear it, in fairness, is when you've done that again, when you violated and left the toilet bowl seat up. So for 1,500 years, we put the toilet bowl seat down. There was no reason for anybody to complain. There was no war, no violations between us and, if you want to say the Algonquins, the Anishinaabe, or whoever. There was no aggressions between us for 1,500 years prior to the coming of the non-native people. It was all the reverse of commodification. And you already know what the reverse of commodification is. It's not what can you pay me and I'll do for you. It's what can I do for you? And it's never what are you going to give me in return? So for 1,500 years, it was this way between all the people. What can I do for you? It was nation to nation. You've heard this example in the past. Last year, maybe we traded with the Anishinaabe for, let's say they gave us 5 moose and we gave them 50 bushels of corn. Well, next year, if they only gave us 3 moose, are we going to still give them 50 bushels of corn? No, we're going to give them 70 bushels of corn. Because of the fact that they could only trade 3 moose, when the year before they were able to trade 5, this means it's a hardship for them. That means in order for them to trade just 3 mooses or moose with us, then that means they have to suffer. They're giving more to us than they had. And that was everybody's complete way of interaction with each other. Give more than what you take. And so with the Anishinaabe, in particular, when the Degani Biohade was made, we got to remember that by the time the Degani Biohade was made with so-called the British, the Anishinaabe were already enslaved to Christianity and already had a Bible translated into their language. This is in the year 1660. So this tells you that the Anishinaabe were much more advanced in being assimilated into the non-native society than we were. But when we made the Degani Biohade, this was made for everyone in the turtle house, everyone. The Kanienkeha do not do things on our behalf just for us. We do things for everyone in our house. Because when we consider, by the time somebody gets into our front door, from that time, let's say, how long does it take them to get into the attic or the basement or to find the swimming pool area or the den? It may take them 100 years to get to the second floor. It may take them 300 years to get to the attic. And maybe another 200 years to get to the basement until all of a sudden they're all over the place. But we take this into consideration so that when we made it, it was made on behalf of everyone. So the Degani Biohade applies to the Mapuche people. The Mapuche can cite the Degani Biohade. The Waiu, whoever the people are in Alaska, the Inuit, the Eskimo, whoever, they all have access to the Degani Biohade because when we made that on behalf of all our people. Okay, I don't know if does that answer your question or is there a gray area?
And this goes back to the initial is the story of Hiawatha.
Well, it's connected. Degani Biohade is a byproduct of Hiawatha being employed by the Ganawiga. So
This goes back 2,000 years.
yes, what started 2,000 years ago, it's still what Warrior Gerda was speaking of tonight. It's still what we are living and doing when we put these words and formulate them in such a way into this document. It is still a continuation of that. You will not find a break in our continuum. Our continuum is unbroken. We come from an unbroken bloodline. But other people, their lines are broken. Their thoughts are broken. They're not solid in their positions. Their thoughts are scattered here and there because they've been broken up by things such as what we're talking about tonight, not the British Nazi concentration camp residential school system. Their minds were broken by that. Their minds were broken by the band and tribal system. Their minds were broken by every time the white man took them to court because them being native was illegal. Their minds were broken by the first day that they were brought into school. Their minds were broken by the first time they believed the word of the white man. And so these things are breakdowns in other people, and this is why you don't see the solid continuum in them. Here, there's no break. We don't stop. Other people stop, and as you heard, these other people, they even retire from their position. Imagine that. When can you, Joseph, when can you retire from being Joseph? Only when you die.
Yeah, never.
That's the only time. And even then, well, Joseph, you're going to continue. So there is no retirement, but this is what happens when people's minds are broken. They start to relate to their slave and their slave driver in the non-native world. They're the ones that came up with retirement because you're enslaved. You need to be retired from an enslavement. You can't be enslaved just constantly all your life and then think that you can just all of a sudden like.
It's literally, they removed the Indian from the man.
Yeah, exactly.
And then gave the man the new identity of being a slave or enslaved. But you have to strip that former identity in order to replace it with something that they wanted.
Yeah. Really what we're doing, and I'm sure you probably just got a glimpse of this, is we're dealing with your past. You could never deal with it. The people in the non-native world they never dealt with their past. We're dealing with your past. And what's going to happen with this is that the non-native people who are not in line with being human, well, they're going to be washed out in the process. Because life here on Earth, this is for humans. There's no place for the conduct and the behavior that the European has spread around the world. This is unacceptable, even by you. If it was just you and your family, Joseph, and somebody came along and tried to inflict this upon your family, there's no way in hell you would stand for it. So it's not about if you are white or black or yellow or whatever. All of us are being consumed by a corruption. Nobody has fought against it yet. We are fighting against it. And where we got to fight against this now, think about this. Let's go to the highest levels of non-native science. What is the most complex or biggest, most important scientific experiment or whatever that's going on right now? Can you identify it? It's the James Webb Telescope. What is that for?
To look into the past.
Looking into the past. Well, we're not only looking into the past, we're dealing with it. Now, what you don't know, what the rest of the world doesn't know, is that the James Webb Telescope is not only for looking into the past, but it's for dealing with it. Because that James Webb Telescope has what nobody has been told about on it. What's on it is a super strong laser beam, strongest laser beam devised by man. That's what's on the James Webb Telescope. So just think, what is the James Webb Telescope picking up? Like you said, it's the past. Where is it? How does it get into the telescope? It's almost like there's an invisible funnel from that past right into the telescope. And if you can travel that funnel this way, you can also send something that way. This is the reason why they created that James Webb Telescope at this time, because as you know, as was identified, that we are at the end of a great cycle. And this is when Sky Woman comes back to sit upon her throne. And the white man is there rushing to that space and time to push her off of her throne. And he wants to sit there. This is what the real action of what's taking place in the next 8 moons actually is. You're going to see it. Right now, you're only hearing it, and it may be fantasy because we're saying it. You may not believe it. But in the next 8 moons, with every moon that goes by, you're going to see it more and more until the unbelievable is right in your face.
Hey, you guys, I want to show you something. Look, I've been watching while you're talking. Look at there's Gastoa. There's no wind. This was when he was a baby. I made him a Gastoa. There's no wind blowing, nothing. And since we've been talking, his Gastoa's been moving back and forth, steady. See? And his corn is up there. It's moving, but it's kind of slowed down now. So I just looked up and I said, when you're talking about all kinds of spiritual stuff, everything spiritual in your life, stuff starts to move. And some people would be afraid and say, oh, it's aberration or it's witchcraft. It's the spirits of the grandfather and grandmothers. They're aware of what's going on. And it just that he's Gusto. I hung it there after he left because he was just a baby. And I said, I'll leave it here until I pass on. I just happened to look up there now. It's moving even more again.
You know what you just identified there, every once in a while, I see that here with the corn that's hanging up. You know, we got corn hanging up all over in here. Every once in a while, I notice that. You see the corn moving. Enough, not much because they're big, heavy. It's like a big braid. So you'll see it moving like at the bottom, maybe about an inch swaying when there's no wind, like you said. Okay, then, just to do the closing now, who was the last one who did the closing last week? Was that? Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, go ahead, Janet. But first, what is that image? Is that a painting or a picture?
It's a photograph of waterfalls not too far from where I live right now.
Mountain, yeah.
It's called, I think they call it Taganic. They say Taganic, but I say Taganok.
Oh, so is that a frozen, like?
It's a frozen waterfall.
Is that in New York?
Yes, it's outside of it. Well, it's in Ithaca, maybe on the outskirts, somewhere around Ithaca.
Teutonic, huh? Teutonic?
Is that how they say it? Yeah.
Yeah, Teutonic.
Teutonic.
I used to live there. I lived close by there.
The next town over is Gin.
Is what? What'd you say?
I said the next town over is Gin. You got Gin and then Teutonic. All right, that's getting stupid now. We're gonna close. All right. Go ahead, Janet.
All right, so I'm gonna do a short version, but it's good practice for me. So, Janet, you got age I'm too nervous. I'm the daughter of Teresa, granddaughter to Gajicho Wenta, and my people reside, my ancestors and my people reside down from Ganawake through Akwesasne, and down to the southern tip of New York currently. Okay, so Ogwego, Anska, and Dide Wahononi, ne Onkwa Niguna, Dano, Diete nu Warado, ne Garun Nia Gesu, ne Yonki Nista Ojun Ohunja, ne Yonki Nista Asun the Neka Garakwa, ne Onunkwa Sun ne Oniga Sun and Dono Onkwa Honwe. Now Skana Agan Hage. I left out quite a few things because on purpose, because we have limited time, but also because I'm learning a lot from Wayagiro and Stewart, and I'm starting to see the importance to Sky Woman. I just learned the spelling to it tonight. And also because the people that are teaching me the Honda Gladi Wadekwa, they don't add Sky Woman in. And tonight I had a revelation about things, the difference between Christianity and the Ganawita and Hiawatha. And so, because I bounce off of walls too, I go back and forth. I feel like giving up. There's obstacles, and so I just really, really grateful to still be here, holding on to the tree in some way. And so, if I left anything out, please add it in. Now we're going.
Janet, for these things, you should never feel, especially around us, with us, Wyatt and myself, whenever you're with Longhouse people, for these things, you should never feel that you have to apologize, because we all know. We all know where we are. We all know what's happening. We all know what has happened. And so we all have different kind of traumas from this, no matter what anybody says. I got traumas from it. I am very fortunate that I do not have as much trauma as most people. Here in Ganawagi, regardless of how bad we got it, we have it so much better than every other community, every other nation. Our people fought for us. They fought and died. They made sure that it wouldn't be the children that would have to be engaged with the white man, trying to escape him so they would freeze to death on the tracks. Here, we were very lucky. There was few of us, very few in comparison to the other nations and other communities that actually went to the residential school. Here in Ganawagi, you'll actually find some families who were sellouts, who actually sent their children to the residential school. There were some families here that actually did that. And so for those people, they can't say nothing about the trauma they received. But for us, myself, Wyatt, we can say, like we do have trauma, but we're very lucky. We're very extremely lucky compared to others. And so we give thanks for this, and we do not put this kind of, let's say, like burden or responsibility upon others, upon you, to say sorry or apologize for things that have happened to you, done to you, to put you in this situation where you might feel that you think that you have to say sorry. No, you don't ever have to say that. We gotta remember, each of us, prop each other up. Remember how tough this was. What they called the Trail of Tears. People may say that was this nation, that was that nation. We walked that, all of us together, walked it together. It's in our collective memory. All the children that were kidnapped, tortured, murdered by the church, by so-called Britain, by so-called Canada, with under the official participation of the police, the RCMP, and the courts. All of this stuff, it happened to all of us collectively. There's none of us that got to apologize for nothing. Any apologies is going to come hundreds of years after the corrections that the white man must start. And if they don't start, and those apologies never come, then everybody is going to be sorted out based on their own categorizations of themselves. So we accept the categorizations that people make of themselves. We cannot do anything to adjust it for them. We accept what everyone, where everyone has placed themselves. So now we'll go up, and you don't ever have to apologize to anything, to any of us on any level for these things ever. So don't do that. Okay, now we'll go on, everybody. This document, regardless of when it's finished, it's going to go out in Kanienkeha. It's being translated into Spanish and French right now. I think it's already done, so it's already English. So soon, if you could find somebody else to translate it in German and Russian, whatever. This is a worldwide agenda that we all got to work on, so we all know that we have to try to make. The only time we'll apologize is when we don't make the efforts. Okay, now we'll go, everybody. Ana, Sasun Dios.
That's on. Yes.
That's on Dios. Yalla.